Welcome to Feng Shui Living, the podcast designed for busy women who want to de-stress, live with intention, and create a home that truly supports their well-being. Each week, I'll bring you practical tips, insightful ideas, and simple strategies to enhance both your home and your life. Let's get started. If you love this podcast and you're ready to go deeper into this work, my book, Aligned at Home, is designed to help you start shifting your space right away with simple, approachable guidance. And for those of you who like something maybe a little more hands-on, the Aligned at Home workbook gives you prompts, exercises, and checklists to actually walk through your home and make some changes. You can snag links for both the Aligned at Home book and workbook in the show notes. Hello. Welcome to Feng Shui Living Podcast. I am your host, Lisa Morton. And boy, did I ever have a Feng Shui experience this morning. I had to go to one of those walk-in places to have some blood taken for some blood work. It's just one of those walk-in lab places where they draw your blood, send it off, and you go about your way. But it was a miserable experience. And the whole time I'm thinking, oh my gosh, if I could just get my hands on this space. So it was really funny because I'd never been to this place before. And I think it was fairly new from what I heard. But you walked in and it was like a closet with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, including me, in this snug room. You walked in, there was no room to move. Everybody was standing on top of one another. There were literally only 3 chairs, and there were quite a few elderly people there. Only 3 chairs to sit down on. You were greeted not by anything welcoming, but by the kiosk where you're supposed to check in. Which, of course, it's nice that it's convenient, but front and center, that was the first thing you saw. And so many people, the first thing that crosses their mind is, oh, how annoying, I have to use this kiosk. Now, I will say it did work fairly well, but a lot of the older people were quite angry. It was stuffy. There was no music, no sound. There was nothing on the walls, beige walls, no life. And everybody fed off this, and everyone fed off each other. And it was just a room of cranky people. And it was just kind of comical the whole time I'm standing there waiting. So I'm happy to be out of there. I could not wait to get out. I also really hate needles, so I was so happy to get out of there and get in my car and head home. But that was just a very real Feng Shui moment of really experiencing how a space can feel not so great and how the people feed off of it. Today in the podcast, I'm not going to be doing any type of Q&A, sharing tips, sharing stories, or client transformations. I want to talk to you directly about something that I've been dreaming of doing for a very long time, and it is happening this September. The Aligned Sanctuary Retreat is something that it'll be the first time in over 20 plus years of doing this work that I'm opening the doors of my own home to you. This is not a hotel. It's not a rented retreat space. It is my home, the one I have spent years intentionally designing, arranging, aligning to feel like this true sanctuary. And by the end of this episode, I think you'll be clear and know exactly what these 3 days will look like, and you'll know if it's for you. So first things first, I want to clear up something because I have had a couple questions. You won't be sleeping at my home. That is, unless you want to snuggle with a giant English Mastiff who's 180 pounds. Maybe Cub has room on his bed. But each day of the retreat happens at my home on our property. However, you will be sleeping at a location of your choosing. That could be a nearby hotel. There are some great low-cost hotels nearby that I could recommend. There's also a beautiful boutique hotel if you want to treat yourself. As there are also great short-term rentals nearby. There's a few homes that I know of that are great rentals, and I think a few of the women are even going in together to get a rental together so they can also just have, that full experience of connecting with these other women. So if that sounds like something interesting, I'm happy to connect you with them. So let's talk about why I'm doing this. I've spent over 20 years walking into other people's homes, helping them shift the energy of this space, redesigning the layout, and crafting spaces to truly support them. It is work that I love. It is my life. But there's always been this part of me that wanted to bring people into my space and not just show them, what's possible, but I want them to feel it for themselves, and then walk away knowing exactly what to take home with them, what they need to know, what they need to implement, what they might be curious about experimenting with. And I want them to feel empowered to do that. That is the whole point of this retreat. It is not 3 days of relaxation and then going home to the same stuck, stagnant feeling in your home that you left. It's about you feeling, again, confident, equipped, and ready to take this on. You'll have the tools, you'll have the awareness, you'll have the knowledge, and again, confidence. So you can take this on, long after you've gone home. You will keep all this knowledge. We are going to have so many different experiential moments that I think a lot of it, this retreat will stick with you for a very long time. And because it's so personal, because it's happening in my home, I made the decision early on to keep it small, just 8 women. At one point, I pondered a big workshop in my home, but then I said, no, I want this to be intimate because I know I have made some of the most amazing long-term friendships and deep connections with women at retreats. And this is also going to be by application, not just checking a box on a website. I want this to be the right fit for the women who come. And that means not everyone who applies will get a yes, and that is intentional. Everything we do over the weekend moves through 3 pillars, the 3 pillars of my intuitive home method, and that is awareness, energy, and then integration. We start by viewing our space with those new lenses. We move into shifting the energy through Feng Shui, through intentional design, and some of those things that you can't see, but you can fully sense or experience. And then we integrate it. We make it real so that it comes home with you, literally. So let's talk through what the weekend actually looks like. And now this is the fun part. I actually spent 2 hours on the phone with my assistant yesterday, and we detailed more and more of the retreat. And every time we talk, we're just giddy with excitement with how excited we are, how amazing this is going to be. So Friday is all about arrival and awareness. You'll get to my home between 4 and 4:30, and we start with this welcome ceremony and a guided visualization. It's really about settling in, getting grounded after travel. Then that evening, we have a celebratory dinner and a special evening creative workshop led by a special guest that I am going to keep as a secret for now. And then Saturday is our full day. Saturday is energy and deep work. We do Feng Shui. We are going to do a full intensive session on Feng Shui where we will work on your space. These aren't going to be hypothetical projects or not a generic worksheet. We're going to work on your specific space with whatever you need in whatever you have going in your life going on, like right now. It's going to be really powerful. We'll then, of course, have a catered lunch and some built-in outdoor reset time. I'm not interested in running you ragged for 8 hours. I've been to those retreats and I'm one of those people, I need some downtime. Plus, it's so beautiful here on our 15-acre property. We have trails in the woods. We have a pond. You can even throw your bathing suit in because we have a heated saltwater pool. So I want time for you to rest, digest, and reset. And, if you need to get outside for a little bit and get some sunshine on your cheeks, then we'll make sure we have time for that. That afternoon, I have a very special guest. Jen Heller is joining us in person. She will be here to lead a session. If you have missed that episode where I interviewed Jen, you will want to go back and take a listen. She's amazing. And her story, she's a healthy living and detox expert. And she's become this expert through living her experience. And she shares her story on the episode. Go listen, but she's going to be here in person. She's going to share some practical ways to support your body right at home. And then we're going to take time to do some rotating sessions. Now, I kept joking to Maggie, and I was like, I kept calling them, it's a round robin time. I'm like, we need a better name. So we came up with rotating sessions. Again, that's not it, but that will work for now. So there's going to be the design desk with me. We can talk design, feng shui, pick out a paint color for your walls. Jen will be having one-on-one sessions with people. I have someone here who will be doing shoulder massages and just hand massages, special things like that to treat you. And then we'll have free time as well. Saturday evening is going to be a delicious, healthy, catered dinner by one of my favorite restaurants. And then we'll move outside for a very special fire pit evening. This session will be led by Dr. Salome DeGood, and I'm going to let that one stay a surprise too, but it is going to be a very special experiential session, and this is definitely going to be one of those moments that people will remember long after they've gone home. And then Sunday. Sunday is integration and closing. We'll talk about crystals for your home because, I love rocks and crystals. I will have all kinds of my collection out for you to touch and feel and look at and explore. And maybe you'll want to take on some of these and take them home. I will have quite a few for sale. I always keep a large supply of rocks and crystals that I send to my clients or we implement into their space. So I'll have all my goodies out for you to choose and pick from if you'd like. And then Maggie Kitch, again, my assistant, who also happens to be a very talented, trained astrologer, has a really cool class that I've taken before. And I asked her to come and do this for you. It is all about following the moon phases with our homes. Now, you might think, what the heck does the moon have to do with our home? But it's really interesting. I think you're going to love it. And then I have a workshop called Stay the Course Planned, because we can learn all this information. We can think about things we want to implement. But how do we stay the course? That is key. How do we keep that energy going? And then we'll have time for Q&A with me, with Jen, with Maggie. And then we'll have a closing ceremony, of course. And then after that, you'll have some time to explore, to do some shopping, to do more one-on-ones, and also just to go jump in the pool if you want, or just go on a walk in the woods. And then, of course, throughout the weekend, I have gifts. I'm not going to share all of them because I still have a few to finalize, and I want it to be a surprise. But I will tell you two of them. One is that every participant will be going home with my favorite crystal water bottle. These bottles have a cavity in the bottom that hold different stones, and you can swap out the stones, and I love them. I gift them to a lot of friends, or I actually gifted these water bottles to all the women who reviewed my book for me when I was in the editing phase. I had some beta readers, and I gave out these bottles to them because I love them. I love using mine, and I think it's a really fun, beautiful gift. So we're going to get those as a gift, but there's also an exercise to go along with it. And then I've also pulled together a beautiful curated collection of my favorite stones and feng shui tools that you will be taking home with you. So you already have a place to start. So this isn't a packed, exhausted itinerary, There's a pool, there's a fire pit, there's time to sit on the back porch and have a cup of tea if you'd like. It's about resting and reviving your body, not just your mind. So who is this retreat for? Well, I designed it for the woman who's feeling stuck, who's craving some peace in your life and a real connection. Just not another quick fix or another to-do list or another worksheet with check boxes to check, right? It's for someone who is craving something different. Even if you can't fully articulate what that is, you know. And I want to address this directly because I know it crosses people's minds. Yes, it's an intimate retreat. It's personal. And yes, it's an investment. And that's not a flaw in the offer. That's the whole point. This isn't designed for everyone. It's designed for exactly who those 8 special women are. So I want to end with the practical details, okay? And this will also be in the weekly newsletter. If you don't see your newsletter in your inbox, be sure to message me and let me know. I'll send you all the details. You can also go to the website, to the retreat tab. All of it is there, and that is where you can apply. If you're like, heck yes, I want to go, then be sure to apply ASAP. It's almost halfway full. Actually, I just got another intake form today, so we shall see. But here are the details. The retreat, September 25th through 27th in Fort Wayne, Indiana, on our beautiful property. The days are going to be spent at my home, nights at a location of your choosing, a house, rental, a hotel. And again, I'm happy to help you find a roommate or something if you'd like to do that. There are only 8 spots, and this is by application. Again, we've already, 4 are already gone. And not everyone who applies is going to get a solid yes. But I'm doing this because I want to be very thoughtful of who is in the room. This is the inaugural retreat too, and the pricing reflects that. And it will not stay this low for future retreats. I wanted to do a very special offer for this, for all of you listeners. If you are a podcast listener, you mean a lot to me. We've been hanging out for quite some time. And here's the deal. Early bird pricing officially ends on July 1st. But this episode is coming out very close to that. So for everyone listening to this episode, I'm extending that early bird window by 1 week to July 8th. Now, this isn't a generic push to get people to sign up. It's genuinely a thank you because so many of you have been with me through this podcast for a long time, through the rebrand, through all the technical difficulties I've experienced as a podcaster over the years. And I just wanted to give you a little extra room to say yes if this is calling you. So July 8th is your special date. You can find the link in the bio and in the show notes. And if you are like, heck yes, I want to do this right now, then make sure you apply today to get in. In the end, I will take applications in the order they arrive, okay, and approve those. So thank you so much for being here and letting me share something that is so personal and means so much to me. All right, I hope to see you at the retreat. If you have questions, reach out. Take care, friends. Special thanks to our sponsor, Elevated Living School of Holistic Design and Feng Shui. For more information, head over to the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, give us a 5-star review, and share this episode with a friend. We'll see you next time.